Hello there, you're listening to the Pinoy MCU Fan, a Filipino podcast where I get to talk about everything and anything Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm your host, Jim. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. And for today's episode, we will be talking about dun 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 Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm super excited to talk about this movie and have this episode with you guys kasi ang dami ko talagang gustong sabihin about Spider-Man No Way Home. Oh my god. Kung taga Pinas ka, if you've been listening to my podcast since the first ever episode, oh my god, we all waited so long. We all waited so long for Spider-Man No Way Home. And it's finally here. We finally watched it, and I am super excited to to talk about the movie. So sobrang dami kong and like the movie really got me thinking, you guys. Like to the point that I had to like make notes. And this is like the first time I made notes for this podcast. Kasi usually parang super simple note lang na nalalagay ko sa sticky notes, and then that's it. I can just base off my whole episode from that. But no, for Spider-Man No Way Home, I really have to grab my notebook all the way from college, and then I had to like list down everything, and then I have to edit my own notes para like flowy siya for me to not end up talking about everything all at the same time. So, syempre, I just wanna make sure that this episode is gonna be concrete and like concise and precise, but also at the same time, I'm gonna be open to discussions with myself, even though kausap ko lang sarili ko. But but I wanna make sure you guys are gonna have fun in this episode. Kasi guys, oh my god, it's Spider-Man No Way Home. Oh my, just amazing. Oh my god, amazing. So dahil sobrang dami kong gustong pag-usapan, ikwento sa inyo guys, I made sure that I'm gonna do a two-part series. I mean, two-part episode. Two-part episode for this just for this movie, just about Spider-Man No Way Home. So for this episode, we will be talking about the good things and some of the bad things that happened in Spider-Man No Way Home. Pero on my second episode, that's where I'm gonna be talking about the theories. Yun na, doon na tayo pwede theorize. And then, dun din ako mag-Q&A, question and answer portion, because I know a lot of people have a lot of questions about the movie, and that's perfectly fine, because yung mga open-ended questions na yun, that is what makes us like think about the movie in a deeper level, and that's what I love about MCU films, you guys. Diba? They really make you think about stuff. And without further ado, I'm just gonna warn you guys, this episode is gonna be, of course, filled with spoilers. So I really hope you've seen Spider-Man No Way Home before listening to this episode. So this is where the intro ends. So if you don't wanna listen anymore because you don't want spoilers, please feel free to listen to my past episodes. And yeah. Okay, are you leaving now? Are you leaving now? You can exit now, yeah, and then click one of my, yeah, there you go. Okay, if you haven't seen Spider-Man No Way Home, bye! But if you've already seen Spider-Man No Way Home, please stay. Please stay, because I want to have this conversation with you. Oh my god, first things first. We're gonna talk about the pros, the great things about Spider-Man No Way Home. I keep saying Spider-Man No Way Home because it's just, I don't know, nagfo-flow na siya sa bibig ko ngayon. Spider-Man No Way Home. Okay, first up, in my honest opinion, well, this whole episode's gonna be based on my opinions, and 10% is from my friends. Amazing movie. I love how the story flows and the story makes sense for me. For me, in my opinion, everything makes sense. Even though some of it doesn't make sense, but like it makes sense for the character. It makes sense for Tom's Spider Man, Tom's Peter Parker. It makes sense that he's kind of dumb because he is. He's a kid, right? And yeah, it makes sense. And the characters that they introduced to the MCU. And when I say introduced, I'm not saying like bagong character to na inintroduce sa MCU. No, I'm talking. You guys know what I'm talking about. Yung mga si Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire's villains are there too. um Andrew Garfield Spider-Man is there. Basically, kompleto guys. Kompleto yung dalawang installment ng Spider-Man sa MCU. And that's what I mean that they got to introduce characters into the MCU. Imagine mo yun, yung superheroes na pinapanood natin nung grade school at high school tayo. Nasa MCU, something that we all grew up watching, but all this time we thought na kahit okay pareho silang Marvel, pero parang naintindihan nating lahat na no, Marvel nga, but it's a different place, it's a different universe. And then suddenly they're here in the biggest movie franchise of all time, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it's fun. It's fun how, oh my god, Andrew Garfield did he really played that character well, in a way na parang dinala niya talaga yung attitude ni the Amazing Spider-Man sa MCU Spider-Man. 'Di ba? 'Di ba? Tsaka really love how they kept Toby's age. Kasi you cannot CGI that out. Kasi kapag CGI mo pa yun, parang mawawala na yung pagkatao ni Toby Maguire's Peter Parker and Spider-Man. 'Di ba, guys? And and yeah, it ang galing lang for me na they were able to make everything work. I don't know. It all makes sense. And speaking of the Spideys acting the way that they are from their original movies to the MCU, the acting of the cast in this movie is amazing. Guys, Green Goblin, have you guys seen Willem? Like the way he really carried that villain is amazing. I remember in Spider-Man in early 2000s, I was still a kid. You guys can tell na medyo bata pa ako na matanda. Um, I used to be super scared of Goblin, of Willem. Kasi he talks to himself alone, and then he talks to himself like he's not talking to himself. Gets ba? Parang he refers to his own self in a second point of view. And it's like it's crazy. I mean, Green Goblin is like crazy, but seeing that in a superhero film, it scared me. It scarred me when I was a kid. Nakakatakot. Aminin ko, takot ako kay Willem Dafoe. Lalo na yung goblin talaga niya, nakakatakot. Tapos makikita mo na lang yon na ngayon, now that I'm all grown up, and then I saw him in the MCU, and he's still the same character. Kasi nga, 'di ba, na-pull out siya at that moment in time during Spider-Man. So it makes sense that he's still that character. Pero you guys get what I mean? Like his acting is so good. He still terrifies me. My God. And it was amazing. It was amazing. And of course, sa lahat ng villain siya talaga paborito ko. Oh my God. He's amazing. And of course, I did talk about briefly kanina na Andrew did he really embodied, in-embody niya talaga si Spider-Man, eh, no? Kasi sa tatlong Spider-Man, sa kanilang tatlo, si Andrew din talaga yung ma-attitude. I'm not saying like ma-attitude in a bad way, pero like he's the most expressive one out of the three. In my opinion, he's like the most expressive Peter Parker Spider-Man out of the three that we have right now. Um, and wow, wow, the amount of stuff Tom Holland has to go through in this movie. But he fucking cried. He beated oh my god, what's happening? Binugbog niya. Binugbog niya si Green Goblin. Guys, that fight scene. Oh my god. Um, ayun pa. I'm just gonna go through my whole list super fast. Yung fight scene nila in this movie is amazing. Nakita niyo ba yung hand-to-hand combat ni Peter kay Goblin sa condominium sa Long Island? Oh my God. Like, they really like, I don't even know if I should like worry living there kasi weak pala yung, weak pala yung condo ni Happy. Pero hindi, guys. D- Dude, Tom's Peter was beating the shit out of Green Goblin. And then Green Goblin, Willem was just like smiling. Dude, that scared the shit out of me. That was the acting there was like amazing. And the fight scenes are super I like how the fight scenes are real and they felt really authentic. 'Di ba? At saka napansin ko yung galit. Yung galit talaga ni Peter nung inano siya ni Green Goblin is like for real, cause he barely even used his webs when he was fighting Green Goblin sa condo. He really went like combat talaga na suntukan kasi ganun siya kagalit. Yun din yung napansin ko eh, parang kapag galit ka talaga gusto mo na talaga gusto mo na mag-physical hurt someone, right? So it was it was really it felt right, that scene. Oh my God, and then the scene at the ending, yung sa may shield ni Captain America na nalaglag sa Statue of the Liberty. Amazing. Amazing. Lalo na yung, I don't know what it's called, but Peter, Spider-Man, Tom's Spider-Man basically somersaulted Goblin. It was amazing. It was amazing. Everything felt real. Lalo na he wasn't using much of his webs. So, alam mong personal talaga. He's out to kill Goblin. Wow. Anyway, besides from that, guys, the Filipino representation. Guys, oh my god, I don't know if I've told you guys this, but I've lived in I lived in the US for 5 years for college, and that Filipino American house ng Lola ni Ned is very, very, very accurate. I cannot explain how accurate that is. Like sobrang it was on point. That Filipino set was on point. Lalo na yung first wide shot. Like ay siya, alam ko na. Alam ko na. Pilipinong bahay. Yeah, every single house that I went to, in every single grandma house that I went to in the mainland, in the US mainland, ganun na ganun yung itsura. Lahat ng tables, lahat ng upuan, merong cover. Guys, may table cover. Tapos may pandesal. Laging may pandesal on the table. I think that's just very standard in Filipino households, right? But I noticed in American houses na Filipino may-ari, ang dami nilang ornaments na fake lotus, na fake flowers. The flowers would be even made out of glass. Ayun, yung nasa background ni MJ. Guys, nakita niyo ba? I think kahit yung TV may balot na may balot na cloth. It's very Filipino, and I felt the scene in that whole sequence of bahay ni Lola ni Ned. It was, I don't know, it was amazing. And like girl hearing and guys, I mean guys hearing just hearing someone speak Filipino in a big ass Hollywood film is amazing. Parang ang simple lang, no? Pero if you're someone who really grew up in an environment that barely recognizes you, that scene was everything. Oh my god, it was amazing. The set was amazing. Oh my, tapos yung mga pictures ng mga apo, family sa walls. Oh my god, very Filipino. And tapos meron pang Lazy Susan. Oh my god, that's I don't know. Nami-miss ko lang din, siyempre, nami-miss ko din yung mga kaibigan ko, yung mga kamag-anak ko sa Amerika kasi ganun talaga bahay nila. Ganun talaga yung bahay namin dati. Yung tinitirahan ko, yung lola ko sa Hawaii. No, and that's where I lived in Hawaii. Um, yeah. Kung saan si Bretman Rock nakatira. I used to live there. So, amazing. Oh, yeah. And, fun fact, Jacob Batalon, the guy who is playing Ned Leeds, our Filipino king in the MCU, he actually grew up, he was born and raised in Honolulu. And, yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of a pretty cool thing to know because I lived in the same place that Ned, Ned, Ned the actor grew up in. So amazing. And of course, I love how we got, I love how we got our, we got our childhood, our high school crush, and our current Spider-Man in a scene in a movie. We saw the three of them together and they had this amazing brotherhood na sabi nga ni Andrew Spider-Man, he always wanted brothers and this was just amazing. It's super nice to see a brotherhood between the three of them. It's amazing. Tsaka yung parang different timelines nila na Toby is older now. Um, Andrew is the middle. He's near the age of Tom's Spider-Man, but at the same time he's kind of way older, and it's just amazing to see the people that we grew up in and the one that we have now together in the same scene. And we all know that Spider Man is such an iconic character, and we were lucky enough to like be blessed with three Spider Mans in the last just in the past 20 years. And nakakaiyak talaga. I do understand why people felt like they were crying in the movie theater kasi they all and that's a thing too. They all got closures. Hindi lang kasi to parang isang simple na nostalgia lang na yay, throwback or some sort of like a tribute ganon. No, we also got closure and that's what's amazing. Oh my god. Every time I remember the thing with Andrew Andrew Garfield and Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker and Gwen. Oh my god, that's that scene that Andrew saved MJ in No Way Home. That he even him is like kind of tearing up. He it's amazing. He redeemed himself. Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man Peter Parker redeemed himself in that scene. And I'm pretty sure that is also some sort of closure for him that he got to prevent the same thing that happened to him to happen to Tom's Peter Parker and that's amazing. And for Toby, we finally got to see that he's doing good, right? He's doing good, and he's still Spider-Man after all these years. Spider-Man pa rin siya, and he's doing, and he looks very low-key, right? Because when he entered the when he entered yung portal ni Ned, he's wearing his regular clothes with his Spider-Man costume underneath. So just from that we can tell that ooh, our dude is living the life of being he was able to balance Peter Parker and Spider-Man. So, in a way, we got a closure on him kasi I do think that he's supposed to have a fourth movie, pero they have to cut it out kasi syempre they're getting older and they want to advance their careers. So, it was a great it was a great parang kinamusta lang din natin si Toby Maguire as a Spider-Man, and it felt amazing. It felt kasi parang ever since na his Spider-Man ended, tapos biglang meron tayong bagong dalawang dalawang Spider-Man, parang syempre we're all very longing for that nostalgia na naiwan talaga ni ni Tobey Maguire, and him showing up older and more mature in No Way Home just means that okay, maybe we don't really have to worry about Tobey Maguire anymore. He's doing all great. He's doing good. His Spider-Man is doing all good. Ayun, tsaka yung the whole thing that Toby and Andrew are trying to help Tom Holland's Peter to not do the same mistakes that they did, it totally makes sense, and it's para talaga siyang tribute then. Like that's where the tribute comes in na parang we all went through the typical Spider-Man thing. And now, Tom, we see you that you're finally, after 2 years of being a privilege, aminin natin privilege naman talaga si Tom Holland, Peter Parker. He's finally starting to feel the weight of his actions as Spider-Man. So, since multiverse and he got the other Spider-Mans got pulled into Tom's universe, parang ang galing lang din na the first thing that Toby and Andrew thought of is help the Spider-Man in this universe. Kasi feel nila. Kasi they had the tingle. They all have that tingle. And yeah, nakakaayun, naisip ko naman. It's super amazing just to see a brotherhood come together on screen. Diba? Oh my god. And also the best thing about this movie is how the Spider-Mans got closure and the new chapter. A new chapter, you guys. Nagkaroon ng new chapter yung mga villains because they got cured. And God, I don't want to think about it, but I gotta think about it for you guys because we're all discussing this movie. Um, you guys, Peter Parker, like Peter Parker and Spider Man as a character, just a character in general, went full circle. Ano, it his storyline just went full circle. Tom, Tom Holland's Peter Parker just went full circle talaga. And ayun na, doon na din natin nakikita yung classic Spider-Man storyline, the classic Spider-Man origin story. Na okay, now he's broke. He gotta pay rent. He gotta pay for his school. He's gonna pay. He needs to find a way to pay for his. He's poor. He's basically poor now, and he's alone. He doesn't have anyone anymore. No one remembers him. Well, yeah, he's alone basically. Asking a wizard for a forget spell is basically saying that he's gonna be alone. He is alone now, and yeah, very, 'di ba, very typical yung story na yun for Spider-Man. It's not a Spider-Man movie it's not a Spider-Man story if he's not broke, if he's not alone, if he's not struggling. And I think when Stan Lee and Steve Ditko created Spider-Man, that's the goal. That's the core of Spider-Man that they make sure na parang he's always living a double life, and tapos yung personal life niya sobrang hirap. He's always struggling. Para lang siyang he's just like everyone. We're struggling to pay bills. We're struggling to make ends meet. But we're living a double life as if nothing's as if we're okay. As if we're okay, as if we're great. And yeah, we're finally seeing that with Tom's Peter Parker and Spider-Man. And he really went back to his roots, and it's amazing to see that we were able to journey through his three part three part origin movie. So amazing. Honestly, out of all the Spider-Mans in the whole multiverse, isa siya, he's one of the most privileged ones. Kasi he got to live a life that he was not struggling, 'di ba? He was able to experience being Spider-Man sa simula pa lang na hindi siya nagsistruggle. Kasi 'di ba, he has Stark Industries to create tech for him. He has his own lab in a kitchen to create his science experiments and do sciencey stuff. And then he also has amazing family and the head of security of Stark to protect him and his family and his friends. So he doesn't have to really struggle that much as Spider-Man. So ang privilege na talaga. Privilege talaga si Marvel Cinematic Universe Spider-Man. And it's amazing to see that they stripped him down so much that it's making people sad kasi we did get used to seeing Tom Holland's Spider-Man being all, parang everything is handed to him, that we kind of forget that what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man is because he's a broke Peter Parker. He's a struggling Peter Parker. So ayun, for me it's amazing how we got we got the nostalgia, we got the closure, we got the tribute, and we got everything that we wanted, even though it makes us sad. And it's definitely a new chapter for the villains, for the two other Spider-Mans, and of course, this is a very, very, very new chapter for Tom Holland's Peter Parker and Spider-Man. So yeah, that basically wraps up my pearls for this movie. And yeah, I forgot to mention. I'm sorry. I'm super super into Spider-Man. That I forgot to talk about the multiverse. This is actually, I think, no, this is definitely the first time that we explored the multiverse. The first time that the multiverse was mentioned was in Doctor Strange, the first movie in, I think it came out 2016, and they just mentioned the multiverse, na sa multiverse sila kumukuha ng energy ng magic nila for mystic arts. But it wasn't until No Way Home that we actually saw, oh, what the fuck is a multiverse? What does it do? The first time in movies, again in movies, that the multiverse is like on a big screen. Because if you guys are also following the Disney Plus TV series, the TV shows, we got Loki and What If exploring the multiverse already. Diba? So yon. Um it's amazing. I just and also the multiverse, with the multiverse, everything is everything is possible, to be honest. Like everything is possible. Everything makes sense in a multiverse. Even though, just like Doctor Strange said, we know frighteningly little about the multiverse. But we all know that with the multiverse everything is gonna make sense. Everything is possible. Because multiverse nga, di ba? Multiple universes, multiple outcomes. Di ba? Ayun. Tsaka ano, tsaka it's amazing. It really got me hyped up for Multiverse of Madness. Kasi kung dun pa nga lang sa No Way Home, na parang it's just a botched spell. Yun lang yun. Na spell na nagkamali and it got so fucked up in No Way Home. What if pa kaya sa Multiverse of Madness, 'di ba? I absolutely have no idea what to expect with Doctor Strange's second movie, but I bet it's gonna be amazing. Amazing uli. Yeah, because I really love everything that has to do with multiverses and time. So yeah, it's gonna be super amazing. Actually, guys, I'm telling you guys now, yung usapang yung usapang time, yung mga moments na na-pull out yung villains and Toby and Andrew, ano pa nga, parang minor talk pa nga yan eh. I mean, for me, it's like, it's minor pa lang yung usapang time travel and multiverse travel dyan. Kasi I feel like in Multiverse of Madness, it's gonna be like crazier than Loki and What If. Yeah. Kasi for me, if I'm gonna compare like the level of like difficulty of talking about the multiverse and the time travel, pinakamadali yung No Way Home. And then, susunod yung What If, and then Loki, and then I'm gonna put the difficulty of the whole multiversal stuff. And of course, in Multiverse of Madness ni Doctor Strange. Kasi madness nga eh, Multiverse of Madness. So I feel like I'm gonna get super fucked up just thinking about how they're gonna talk about time in that movie. So I am very excited. Excited. Ayon. So that's my pros for Spider-Man No Way Home. Now I'm gonna talk about the cons. Some of the stuff that I kinda didn't like about Spider-Man No Way Home. The first one, Wong's line change. If you guys remember, the trailer, he was very firm. Do not cast that spell. He said it like he's mad and he's firm when Wong said that. Wong said, "Do not cast that spell." And then you're gonna go to the movies and you're gonna see him say like, "Okay, sure, just leave me out of this." Parang nag-downgrade yung meaning nung sinabi niya. Tsaka nag-downgrade yung intensity nung sinabi niya. Gets ba? 'Di ba? Like in the trailer he said, "Don't, no, no. I told you no." Pero sa mismong movie, he's just like, "You have to be careful, don't do it because this and that." Oh, okay. Ikaw bahala, but wag mo ako idadamay dito. 'Di ba? Iba yung no sa wag mo ako idadamay dito. Yung no, you're firm na you're saying, "No, don't do it." Uh, as compared to saying, okay, just leave me out of this." Parang sinasabi mo lang na, sure, basta wag mo ako idadamay. 'Di ba? Parang it loses the sense of urgency and the sense of importance of the spell. 'Di ba? Parang na-undercut yung importance ng spell. Tsaka isa pa, bakit hindi inexplain, bakit hindi mo na inexplain sa bata kung anong gagawin? Like, what is this spell about? Pero, again, understandable, inexplain din naman ni Doctor Strange na, you know what, sometimes I forget that you're a kid. 'Di ba? I guess medyo katangahan na lang yun, na nakalimutan mong bata pala yung kausap mo. Ayun. Come on, even though you're 17 years old, we gotta admit that you're still pretty young. Especially with the amount of power that you have, you're very young for the power that you have. And the responsibility that you're gonna have. 'Di ba? 'Di ba, guys? Speaking of responsibility, here is here's my second con. Guys, I understand that Aunt May has to die. It is part of Spider-Man's whole storyline arc, origin story niya yun na parang one, hindi parang, it is a must. Kailangan yun sa storyline ni Spider-Man para maging Spider-Man siya. Kailangan mamatay yung pinakamalapit niyang kamag-anak. Tapos kailangan niya marinig yung responsibility talk, 'di ba? With great power comes with great responsibility. When Aunt May said that, I'm like, okay, shit, she's gonna die because she said that. She said that. She said that. So she's gonna die. Parang absolute point. When I say absolute point, ito yung mga bagay na parang these are the things that makes you who you are. It's the things that makes the superheroes the superhero that they are. If you change that absolute point, they will never be the person that they are. Gets ba? If you guys have seen What If, ayun, inexplain nila yung absolute point doon. The absolute point, you just cannot change it. If you change it, that you're not gonna end up the person that you're. And if you change it, you're basically fucking up the whole universe. Kasi nga absolute point, yun yung talaga yung mga bagay na hindi mo mababago kasi importante yan sa growth mo as pagkatao. And in this instance, importante yung absolute point na yon para para maging para maging tunay na superhero yung superhero natin. And for Spider-Man, since nakita naman na natin yung dalawang movies, yung dalawang installment with Tobey and Andrew, we do know na absolute point talaga ni Spider-Man na merong mamamatay sa tito or tita niya. At kailangan masabi talaga yung responsibility talk. 'Di ba? Yun talaga yun eh. They gotta feel that, alam mo yun, kung hindi man yung tito or tita, pwedeng yung jowa, parang si Gwen, or kaya, I'm not saying MJ's gonna die, but, jowa din naman si MJ. Parang, parang, importante, absolute point, kay Spider-Man na makuha yung great power, great responsibility talk, and yung feeling na someone close to me died, and it's my fault. Ayun. Kailangan absolute points yon sa buhay nila. Sa pagiging Peter Parker, Spider-Man. So, understandable naman na kailangan talaga mamatay si Aunt May for Peter Parker to start the origin story of Peter Parker. And it just seems like her death is executed in a weird way. I don't know, guys. The fucking glider crashed to a glass wall into a concrete corner, support corner, and then it hit her back, and then it made her. Guys, tumalsik siya. Nakita niyo naman, di ba? Tumalsik si Aunt May. And then suddenly she stood up. I'm like, okay. Kasi nung tumalsik siya, the moment that the glider hit her, I'm like, shit, shit, shit. And then suddenly she stood up. Siya pa yung unang lumapit kay Peter Parker. We were just like, oh, okay. So I was like, oh, okay, she's doing great. She stood up. She can do this. Kahit nung tumayo siya, medyo nagsisway-sway na siya, masakit yung likod niya, ganun. Pero nag-usap sila ng saglit, napagalitan niya pa si Peter. Tapos, biglang sabing, okay, let's go. Biglang hindi na nakatayo, nakahiga na siya. Tapos, dinudugo na pala. Tapos, namatay na. Like, yung development lang nung scene na yon parang ang sagwa. Parang, nakatayo siya. Tapos, biglang nalaglag. Tapos, namatay. Which is weird. And she said the great power responsibility line habang nakatayo siya. I don't know. It just felt weird, that scene. Kasi I really thought that she was gonna be okay. Tapos, kasi tumayo siya. Yun lang yun. Parang, I wish she didn't stand up, to be honest. Sana hindi na lang siya tumayo. I wish she just stayed na nakahiga. Ayun. So, parang, it felt, her death kind of felt insincere. because of this, because she stood up. I'm sorry. I keep saying na dahil tumayo siya, but it is. Kasi if you ask me, if I was the director, oh my god, John Watts, I am after your job. Hindi, charot. Pero, pero hindi, guys. You guys get what I mean, right? Like, she could have just stayed, like, on her place and, like, asked Peter, like, Peter, nasa ka na, help me get up. And then at least try to sit up a little, pero not move much. Parang, okay, wait, stay still muna. Parang ganon. Tapos dun na sila nag-usap. Tapos dun niya sinabi yung, great power must come great responsibility line. And then, when they tried to leave and stand up, ayun talaga, hindi talaga siya makatayo all the way. Kasi nga, dinudugo yung likod niya. Dapat ganon, guys. You get what I mean? It's like, I just really don't like a lot of people kind of don't like that she stood up. Me and my friends, we didn't like it that she stood up. Kasi, para talagang kaya niya pa eh. I don't know, it just felt super, super weird. And nung kahit tumayo siya, you cannot really see the blood. Tapos ang dami pa, bigla ang dami, no? Ayun, parang, it just felt awkward. That scene felt awkward. But I'm not gonna lie, she really got me. Where she got all serious and, like, with the responsibility line. Like, that's a moment that, oh fuck, she's gonna die. She stood up, she said that. And I'm like, okay, I know she's gonna die. She's gonna die for real. When she died, the first thing that I said was like, oh my god, she's Uncle Ben. She is Uncle Ben, right? Ayun, one of the absolute points in Spider-Man's story is the Uncle Ben Aunt May dying part. So yeah, Aunt May, I really wish you didn't stand up. I really wish you did not stand up. Um yeah. Okay, as long as, I mean, as much as I love this the Filipino scene, I gotta admit, medyo awkward si Lola. But I don't blame her. Nakaka-awkward kaya mag-Tagalog in front of a Hollywood camera with a lot of iconic people in one room, in your living room. My God. But yeah, most of the Filipino lolas that I met in Hawaii and on the US, they're super loud. They're super loud and they talk super fast. I don't know. I feel like even here in the Philippines, like, even if you're a lola, you know that your lola is gonna talk super fast. They talk super fast. Ang bagal kasi ni lola sa TV sa pelikula magsalita. Pero hindi. It's just a little something for me that kind of put me off a little, but not really. She's still cute and I love her. Lola ni Ned. Uy, sabi ni Andrew, I'm sorry, Lola. Ah, nakakakili, my God. But, but yeah, tapos ang cute ni MJ, ang cute ni Zendaya. She was like, we're sorry, Ned's Lola. Ang galing, nakakatuwa lang. Oh my God. I'm going to sleep. Yeah, but, yeah, well, tsaka yung medyo merong awkward moments yung funny scenes doon. Oh yeah, I forgot to, masyado akong na-caught up kanina with the nostalgia that I forgot to talk about how funny No Way Home was. Tsaka yung funny scenes kasi sa No Way Home, sakto talaga sa characters, di ba? Um, so I'm sorry, Doctor Strange, but you're arrogant as hell, and your sad sarcasm lines really fit you. And si Ned at saka si Ned and Zendaya, si Ned and MJ were, oh my god, Ned is super funny. I love Ned. Ned, our Filipino Salamangkero king. Oh my god. Magiging apprentice ka na ba ni Wong? Charot. Pero yeah, and I also really love how they made Ned magic. Guys, he's magic. Kasi I know that's super far from the comic history of Ned Leeds, but I am super happy that they did not go that way. Kasi si Ned Leeds nga, magiging hobgoblin siya. And I don't want Jacob Batalon to be to be Hobgoblin. Because his character is so lovable and so he has potential on his own. So I'm really great. Glad that they went that way for Ned Leeds for Jacob Batalon in the MCU. So if you're from Marvel and you're listening to this, please, 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 please do everything in your willpower to make sure that we're gonna get the amazing supporting character storyline for Ned, for Jacob Batalon. Because I'm really rooting. I'm really rooting for him. I am rooting for him, you know. And he's amazing, just amazing. Yeah. So I'm sorry I jumped back to pros for that one, but now I'm gonna go back to my cons. I'm sorry. Okay, thank you, Ned Leeds, for bringing the two other Spider-Man in your to bring you brought Toby and Andrew to Tom, and that's amazing. The meeting between Toby and Andrew was iconic because they just had the tingle, the Peter tingle, and they started shooting webs, bro. That's just amazing. And yeah. Now that I'm trying to remember it, it's like it's super nostalgic and it's like iconic in every way. And wow. But I'm sorry, I'm gonna go back to my con list. Um but I just gotta say this. It did feel a little bit quick when Toby and Andrew met with Tom. But I think the reason why, because I don't know, I was just expecting for Tom to be like, wait, bakit may dalawang Spider-Man? Bakit kayo nandito? But no, he was just like, he just accepted that they're there. Which is also understandable, I might say, kasi he was already grieving about Aunt May. Aunt May literally just died. Parang wala na siya sa isip niya na parang, may pake pa ba ako sa mga multiversal people na to? Eh, dahil nga sa kanila, kaya namatay si Aunt May. Parang ganun yung nasa isip ni Peter Parker. When we all know it's Peter Parker's fault. I'm sorry. I'm saying it. It was Peter Parker's fault why Aunt May died, why everyone forgets him now. So, I'm sorry, but that's the truth. And, yeah, medyo na ano lang, medyo awkward, I guess. Medyo awkward talaga na parang bigla lang yung meeting nila. Parang biglang okay na sila. Pero then again, I kind of understand why because Tom's Peter is grieving, so he really didn't care. He really didn't care if he's in the presence of two other Peter. He's just sad. But that sudden meeting is also the reason why they were able to help Tom. So I'm really grateful for that, and I really liked how that, even though it was fast, even though the sudden meeting was like fast, it makes sense. It makes sense. Um, yeah. Another con for me. I'm sorry. Well, we're ending. We're at the end part. They didn't. They did. I mean, the Daily Bugle. They talk about how they did talk about how yung events sa Statue of Liberty is happening, and they did confirm that the spell worked. No one remembers who Spider-Man is and who Peter Parker is kasi 'di ba? The like a few weeks ago the world was like super crazy na they're even putting cases on Spider-Man, on Peter Parker. And yeah, which is also weird at the end of the movie because they didn't do any updates on the Mysterio case and the London attack case, right? So I think that's also down to like questions on how far the spell is gonna go, but the forget spell is gonna go, but I don't know. It's it still felt weird that they didn't do an update a news update, a Daily Bugle update on the Mysterio London attack. So, yeah, now yung pinaka nag-open sa movie, wala tayong closure doon. With that, kind of weird. Now we got closure on Andrew and Toby and Tom, pero we didn't get a closure on the case. Even though, even though Daredevil, Matt Murdock did say that there the cases would likely be dropped, pero wala tayong update on the Stark Industries, sa tech, tsaka yung Spider-Man nga na cases. Kasi I think even though they did forget who Peter was, hindi pa rin nila makakalimutan na ginawa yung mga nangyari sa London with Mysterio and Spider-Man, 'di ba? So, yeah. I don't know why I just laughed, but yeah, even though kasi ngayon ko lang din na-realize na kahit wala tayong update on the Mysterio London attack case, I think that also leaves a question like in the future. In the future in a future movie, kung meron man Spider-Man 4 with Tom, that would be great. But yeah, let's see. Let's see how far they're gonna take this and san sa nila paano nila a-answerin yung issue regarding Mysterio and the London attack. If they are doing another season of Daredevil, that would be great if they can cover that story sa Daredevil. But I doubt that they will. But yeah, I hope that all goes well for the London attack cases. So basically, that's all my pros and cons. But here's one criticism that I got from a friend. From a friend that also ranted to me about Spider-Man No Way Home. She said that the plot felt reliant on nostalgia, which I do agree that is true. But for her, it's a criticism. Like she didn't feel like the plot is doing anything. The plot is not. The plot is just. Eh, it was only good because of nostalgia that the villains and the Spideys did bring. And for me, in my honest opinion, I do feel like when we talk about nostalgia and the plot of No Way Home, there's two levels to it. First one is, yeah, the characters, the villains, and Spidey, the two other Spidey. Um, so very nostalgic yun kasi nga, di ba? We grew up with Toby, and then as we're getting into our teenage years, we're watching Andrew. That's the first level of nostalgia, and then the second level, the deeper level for me, is that we saw Tom's Spider-Man start in this we saw him transition to the classic Spider-Man origin story. He's broke, he's not getting money and support from billionaires. Um he doesn't have a family. No one knows who he is. I mean Peter Parker, my friends pero like no one no one really knows that he's Spider-Man. It just happens that in the MCU version, no one really knows him. Literally no one knows him. So he's back to square one. Like the Peter Parker Spider-Man character. I'm talking about the character itself. He really went back to square one. It's nostalgic too. Just seeing Tom Holland, Peter Parker going into that correct, right? In just in that general Spider-Man origin story direction, and it's amazing to see the MCU after all did do justice on the MCU Spider-Man, because we all know. Well, if you don't know yet, Tom Holland Spider-Man has been receiving flack for the past what 5 years. Kasi nga he's a very different Spider-Man. He's naive, he's dumb, he didn't make his own tech. He had Stark basically give him his suit, his his jet, he's like his own lab. Alam mo yun, parang very spoon feeding pa yung Spider-Man na to. But I'm super glad that MCU really stripped him down back to his actual Peter Parker roots sa comics, and it's amazing. It's just amazing how we got to see a fresh new look. I'm not talking about like yung last ano niya ha, yung last suit niya, last scene niya sa No Way Home, but I'm talking about how for the past 5 years we at least got fresh stories of Spider-Man. Even though he was kind of annoying, but it was still a fresh story. It's something new, 'di ba? Kasi with the past two Spider-Man installments, they're very alike, 'di ba? Pero with Peter, yung first two movies niya, very very magkaiba, 'di ba? And I think that was something that the MCU is going for anyway. Parang they want to do a different spin on this Spider-Man. And the multiverse did make everything make sense. Marami talagang possibilities kapag may multiverse, ano. Parang nabibigyan ka agad ng automatic pass. Kasi you're in a different universe. In this universe, this is how things go. But there are certain points that are just absolute that you cannot change. That is always happening in every universe for these people, for these characters. So it's amazing. It's amazing how the writers of Spider-Man No Way Home or Spider-Man Home series, Home trilogy was able to do this for Spider-Man. 'Di ba? Nakakatuwa. Nakakatuwa lang. I wish Stanley was still alive. He would probably feel super proud of Spider-Man No Way Home. Sayang 99 na sana siya. 99 or 100 na sana siya this year. Rest in peace, Stanley. One of your greatest creations, Spider-Man talaga. The nostalgia works on this plot. Nostalgia works for Spider-Man No Way Home. Because that is exactly what Tom's Peter Parker needed. He needed guidance. He needed that. I mean, in my opinion, he really needed that. Kasi sobrang for me ang spoiled niya kasi. Spoiled siya. So, if he didn't get that talk from the two Spideys that, hey, maybe Aunt May didn't die for nothing. Maybe if he didn't hear that, if he didn't get that talk, he would do very, very reckless things. And that would just make his conscience worse than it already is. So, it's just amazing to see that these two big brothers were able to save their brother from doing more damage that it already has. That's basically it. That's basically all my thoughts on Spider-Man No Way Home. I didn't talk much on the multiverse aspect of it because that's for the second episode. That's for the second episode. Um and the second episode is mostly gonna be on the multiverse part kasi dun ko gagawin sa second episode yung question and answer portions. And most of the questions that I got when I did my Instagram story like survey, question and answer portion on there too. Ang dami nagtatanong about time, yung travel nila, multiversal travel nila. So, I really wanted to separate the Spider-Man aspect of No Way Home and the multiverse aspect. So for the second part of the No Way Home of the Spider-Man No Way Home podcast episode, if you guys have any questions regarding the movie in terms of like the plot, the timeline, the multiverse, or the time travel, or the multiversal traveling, please let me know. Please message me on Instagram at the.pinoymcufan or on Facebook. I also have a Facebook page. It's the Pinoy MCU Fan Podcast. I'm gonna end this episode right here. I'm gonna see you guys next week. Bye.